So welcome back. Now let me show you how you can evaluate a system so that you can say, did I make good decisions or did I make bad decisions, right? So you need metrics for that. And so this is why we have this part on evaluation. So what we have seen so far, and I'm again doing a recap because I love repeating, because this is how then in the long term you remember, right? So we saw that as an input, we have a set of documents. That's always the case, right? For all of the systems, it doesn't matter if it's Boolean, rect, and so on. You have a set of documents. And then we first started with Boolean queries where the output is an unsorted, unranked subset of documents. We saw it's not so convenient because it's very difficult to have a good number of results. Either you have too few or too many, and so it's very difficult to write good queries, right? But in these first systems, we had an abstraction where we see a document as a set of words. It means we don't care how many times a word appears in a document, and we also don't care the order in which they appear, and we end up with vectors of Booleans. Then we saw that we can build a structure called a standard inverted index. Inverted because it's organized by term instead of by documents. When you go in the library, it's organized by document, right? You have the books on the shelves. You don't have the words on the shelves. That would be unusable if you had the words on the shelves. But here it's inverted because we do it by term, and it's standard because that is the original one where we did not yet add all the other things, like the term frequencies and so on. What you have on the left, the terms associated with posting this, they are typically organized in a structure, which can be a hash table, which can be a B plus tree, depending on what you want to pick. And that gave us a way to efficiently implement Boolean retrieval. IBM Stairs being one of the early examples. But then there's other systems that are able to rank documents. The early system, the earliest one was called SMART at Cornell. And this one outputs ranked subset of documents. It gives you the top 10, basically, nicely sorted by relevance. In order to do this, we compute scores, but in order to compute scores, we like to have a bit more information. So instead of considering documents as sets of words, we consider them as bags of words. So we also want to know how many times a word appears in a document. So now we use the term frequencies and the inverted documents frequencies in order to represent a document as a vector, but instead of a vector of Booleans, now it's a vector of numbers. By default, that vector is going to have TF-IDFs, and it's renormalized with the Euclidean norm by default. But you have all of these variations of that with your restaurant menu, all these ways of doing that. But in the end, you get a vector of non-negative real numbers. So it means that you're in the first quadrant of a real vector space with a very high dimensionality, right? Because you have as many dimensions as terms, so you could end up with a 1,000,000 dimension vector space. And the query is also a point there, and we saw that we can compute the similarity between a query and a document using the scalar product. And if we renormalize the scalar product, we end up with the cosine of the angle, right? So it's basically the angle. And again, I repeat, for the clustering, since we cluster by the angle, this is why you have all of these rays that come from the origin, right? I don't know if there's any physicists here, but there are all of these projective spaces in physics and a lot of advanced physics where you look at the universe. I can say this as a parenthesis, basically, but there are theories of physics where the universe is actually some sort of holographic projection of some higher dimensional universe, and we just see the rays that come from the origin, right? So it's projective. But anyway, you really have to look at the documents as vectors that come from the origin, and the similarity as the scalar products between these vectors. Okay, so we are in there. So how do we evaluate this? How do we know if we should use stop words or not stop words? For example, if V is a stop word, how do you get the Times Higher Education ranking, THE, right? So that's something that became obvious once it was invented. Before, nobody cared if V is recognized as a word. But when you have an actual system that's called THE, then you do want to return it, right? So that's giving you some constraints whether or not you use stop words. How do you know if we exclude the numbers, the phone numbers, the email addresses, and so on? What is the best value for R for the champions list? How many documents do we keep for a term? Do we use stemming or do we use lemmatization? Maybe for some languages it's obvious. What if it's a language that's kind of in between, right? So do you use one or the other? Should you weight the query terms or should you not weight the query terms? We saw that at first we don't weight the query terms, we just use a 1 if it's in the query and 0 if it's not in the query. That's why we sum the TF-IDF. But some people might want to weight the query terms too. Should you renormalize the scores with L2, right? Should you bring that back to the unit sphere, all of these vectors? We saw that if you just clone a book multiple times, it's still the same content, right? So it's only the direction of the vector that matters. It's not the actual norm. Again, if you know quantum physics, it's the same as saying that when you have a pure state, psi in quantum physics, it's only its direction that matters. We always renormalize the states to 1. Who does quantum computing? Who also already did some quantum computing? Oh, nobody. So then it didn't make sense what I just said to anybody. You should do quantum computing. There's very interesting things that are going on in there. Anyway, what document weights should I use? TF-IDFs or whatever other variation from the smart menu. So in order to answer over all of that question, we need to optimize relevance. I remember a lecture that I had as a student about, I think it was called Gründung und Führung eines Unternehmens, something like this, like how do you create your startup and make it successful? And the answer to every single question that the lecturer was asking, like what's the goal of a company, blah, 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 the answer was always Kundennutzen. Kundennutzen, Kundennutzen, Kundennutzen. Well, here the answer is always relevance. Relevance, relevance, relevance. Whatever system you build, it needs to return relevance documents to your users. So all the metrics that we are going to look at are based on how relevant the documents that are returned to the user are. I'm going to stop here for the break, and then I'm going to go through the metrics in a quarter of an hour.